What is going on, everyone? How about we talk about neighborhoods that sane people try and avoid? On this channel, we've gone over the worst things about states, cities, towns, zip codes, airports, my cousin's wife, and other horrible places. We also did a few videos about bad neighborhoods in different cities, and people really seemed to like them. So I thought today we would just look at the country's worst neighborhoods. The harsh reality is we have some places in this country that probably should be vacated, fenced off, and forgotten about. What I love about these videos are the two type of people that comment on bad neighborhoods. The first are the people that say it isn't that bad and I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm not from there. The only thing I can say to that is stop typing, numbers don't lie. The second is the person that attempts to look hard and gain some street cred and take some sort of pride in being from here. Here's the thing, living in a really bad neighborhood isn't a good thing. If it was, the people who become successful from that neighborhood would actually stay there. They don't, and they rarely come back. A crappy neighborhood isn't something to be proud of. Doing something about that crappy neighborhood to make it better is. Wake up. Now we can do a video series on this one, 2 or 3 at least, from all around the country. There's that many. Some of these neighborhoods are really close in the level that they suck. So this really won't be in a hardcore by the numbers order. I'm gonna do my best, see what we can do here. That being said, why don't you lock the front door, put a chair against it, set the alarm, and watch my top 10 worst neighborhoods in the United States. Number 10. Downtown Rockford, Illinois. Life in downtown Rockford is pretty dangerous. Violent crimes have been on the rise so much that any person in the area of downtown Rockford has a 1 in 13 chance of being involved in a crime every single day. This last October and November, it was a little busy in the downtown Rockford area. They had 3 pedestrians hit by cars, 2 people arrested for firing guns in the air, 4 people shot out in front of different bars, 1 man shot in front of his apartment, 1 man shot while sitting in his car on the phone. They had a couple of stabbings, and not too far from downtown in August, someone decided to fire shots at or around the Auburn High School football game. Good times in Rockford. Number 9. West End, Cincinnati, Ohio. West End, Cincinnati is not where you want to be. Ever. The main streets of this area look nice and promising. However, once you get into the more residential parts, that's where you start to see garbage in the streets and, boarded up windows, abandoned homes, dogs missing legs and eye patches, and broken down fences. All the things that are what you'd see in a really bad movie about a bad neighborhood. It's going on here in West End, Cincinnati. It's no surprise that while in this neighborhood, you have a 1 in 12 chance of being involved in a crime. 2 nights ago, 3 men were shot and 1 died early Sunday morning. This was all on the West End, Cincinnati. Cincinnati police say the first one happened on Court and Central Avenue. According to the police, the victim took himself to the hospital but was gone before they arrived. Then on Finley Street, they found an SUV that was all shot up. Inside, they had a man who had sprung some holes recently and now was deceased. They also had tracks showing that someone else that was in the vehicle had sprung some holes also, but had left. What is the deal with people leaving the scene of these things when they've been shot up? If you shoot me, I'm sticking around for some help. Well, I mean, unless someone's still shooting, then maybe I'm gonna, beat feet, but still. You know what I mean. Number 8. West Jeffries Freeway in Seabolt Street, Detroit, Michigan. This neighborhood is not a good one to get turned around in. Lost, whatever. The crime rate here is 140% higher than the national average, with around 60 reported crimes daily in this neighborhood alone. It doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. The year-over-year increase in crime is about 13%. In other words, this place isn't much safer than a lot of war zones. You can get any one of these 3 gems for just under $30,000 each. Oh, look, at least someone took the trash to the curb. Now if they could just find an armored trash truck, someone might pick it up. Number 7. Chelsea Avenue, North Claybrook Street, Memphis, Tennessee. This neighborhood is a smaller one near the new Chicago area of Memphis. And yes, this one is just like some of the neighborhoods in the original Chicago. This neighborhood boasts a fatherless household rate that is 90% higher than the national average. This usually indicates high poverty rates as well. And this one does have high poverty rates. Single parents struggle. Trust me on that one. If you don't know, and you were lucky enough to be raised by 2 parents, single parents do struggle. If you were raised by a single mom and aren't in jail or rehab, call your mom and say thank you. A lot of men are dicks in this world. This neighborhood is suffering in part because of that stat. Number 6. Whitman Park, Camden, New Jersey. Whitman Park is a neighborhood where you never want to send your children to school. The average student's test score is 76% lower than the national average. Only about 62% of the residents will graduate high school, and only about 2% of them go on to college and get a 4-year degree. That is some of the lowest numbers I've ever seen while I've been doing these lists for those two categories. High school grads and 4-year college. That's just way too low. They have no jobs. Camden is always on the most dangerous lists. It's in New Jersey. Whitman Park is a giant hole of despair. Nothing good is going on here. Oh, I'm sorry. Rent is dirt cheap, but then again, you got to worry about dying all the time. Make sure you have good health insurance. Number 5. Orange Street and Broad Street, Rochester, New York. Rochester has an overall crime rate that's 71% higher than the national average. This neighborhood specifically has had an overwhelming rise in murders, assaults, and robberies in recent years. Don't move here. It's just getting worse. People keep mentioning that Rochester is bad. I haven't been there since I was a kid, so I always remember it being nice. I guess it was back then, or I was too young to realize the suck that Rochester had to offer. Not sure. Number 4. Russell Woods, Detroit, Michigan. Russell Woods is a neighborhood just east of I-96. The crime rate here is 132% higher than the national average, with a total year-over-year increase of about 14%. While you're in this neighborhood, you have a 1 in 12 chance of being involved in a crime. And yes, this is a crime, or at least it should be. Nobody should be allowed to paint their home that color. That's horrible. What sucks about Russell Woods is that there are blocks here that are nice and well-maintained. Some really nice homes around here. Turn the corner, and it looks like Godzilla strolled down the street while doing the Bird Box challenge. Number 3. McDaniel Street, St. Mary Street, Atlanta, Georgia. This area of Atlanta is scary. The rate of robbery and violent assaults have risen in the last few years, giving you a 1 in 10 chance of being involved in any crime. You have a 1 in 15 chance of being assaulted. That means if you go on a group interview at Home Depot, one of you is getting stomped in the parking lot afterwards. It's also hot as balls in the summer in Atlanta, and it's a known fact that the heat increases the crime rate. So no group interviews in July or August in Atlanta, okay? Number 2. James Buchanan Drive and First Street, Jackson, Tennessee. Hey, Tennessee made it twice in this list. That is strange because majority of this state overflows with good people and amazing landscapes. But this neighborhood seems to be void of both of those. It's not a place to settle down. The homes here are either apartments or one-bedroom homes, oddly enough. Chances of people moving here and settling down and giving this place a better, look, feel, curb appeal, whatever you want to call it, is not likely. I think the best thing that could happen to this neighborhood is a possessed bulldozer with a full tank of gas. And number 1, City Center, East St. Louis. Right now, some of you are wondering, where's Chicago? Well, Chicago does have some bad neighborhoods, just not as bad as the media makes them sound. Crime and murder type stats go off averages or per capita. Chicago has far too many people to make it on a lot of these lists. They'll probably be on the next one. I'm sure they will. But back to East St. Louis. The city center area of East St. Louis has definitely seen some better days. You'd probably have to go back to the 1800s to find those days. Today, however, this is not a place you want to end up. Have you ever seen that movie Escape from New York? It's very similar. The crime rate here is 175% higher than the national average. There's about 22 reported violent crimes occurring daily in city center East St. Louis. While in the area, you have a 1 in 12 chance of being involved in a violent crime. That's a great stat. Now, everyone together here. Let's all say this together. Hey Siri, never let me go within 100 miles of city center East St. Louis.
Here's what I found on the web for never let me go within 100 miles of city center East St. Louis. Have a look.
That was great. Alright, so that's my top 10 worst neighborhoods in the United States. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some good information out of it. I'm sure I'm going to do another one of these within a week or two. So look forward to that if you enjoyed this one. Don't forget all the links below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.